Whether you are a returning player or a completely new player to RuneScape 3 and you're trying out fresh start worlds, you need money. Whether you want to skill or take on bosses, money or GP in RuneScape is very much needed. Let's go over some great tips that I can give you that you can try within the first week of gameplay. Let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on guys? My name's Chevalric and today I'm bringing you a guide, or more so a tips and tricks video on the new fresh start worlds and on how you can make some money while starting out your account and in the first week, because honestly you can use the Grand Exchange, or for the new players if you don't know what it is, pretty much the auction house of RuneScape where you can just put in items and sell them. But obviously because it will probably be quite empty and there's not a lot of money, you kind of have to play like an Iron Man, aka gathering a lot of things yourself. And I'll be going over some general tips that, as I said in the intro, within the first week you can achieve. And some of these might seem very far-fetched, especially if you're a returning player, you know a thing or two about RuneScape. And I'm going to be mentioning some more endgame bosses. How are you going to be doing them in a week? I'll be telling you. But if you're going to enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Go follow my Twitch as well. I stream pretty much every single day. If you want any tips and I'm live, feel free to ask. You can always ask me anything. I won't be streaming Fresh Start Worlds because I recently started another account, an Iron Man account, so there's not really a point for me to do it, but I still want to give you guys some tips. Go follow my Twitter, everything. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So first things first, I think it's really important to know that I am making this video before the Fresh Start World comes out. So some tips that I might be giving you might not work initially, but will eventually work. For example, I'll be bringing up a group boss a little bit later on in this video, which you will have to do in a mass world, aka a public world. But there might not be public instances for this on day 1, but they might be there for day 3. I can also not tell you which world it will be, so please keep that in mind. They will exist, but I just don't know where they will exist or when in the cycle it will exist. But trust me, they will exist in the first world because everyone, or first week, my bad, because everyone will be going to this. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's start with step number 1. You want to be unlocking War's Retreat, aka the PVM or PvE, whatever you want to call it, hub of RuneScape. In here you can unlock portals that directly teleport you to bosses, but also will unlock a teleport that is like 5 steps, I believe, or 6 steps away from a bank chest. It's also close to an altar, which you do need to unlock with boss skills again, but you can also go to the Reaper's portal. To unlock this, you need 60 combat and you need 10 boss skills to unlock the teleport. I would suggest going to the Giant Maw or Game Like Dragon. If you're playing with some friends or playing with some random people, just ask them if you can join and you can all get your kills and it would sort itself out. Don't worry. But it is such a good unlock, and eventually you can also unlock the portals if you have 100 boss skills, which I know will take a little bit longer, but you will do a lot of bosses if you follow this video, so you will get it eventually. But you want to then go get your first Reaper tasks. Reaper tasks are pretty much boss tasks. The Reaper, aka Dev in Dev's office, can give you a task, and if you complete it, you will get Reaper points, which eventually you'll need for Hydrixes, which is used for the best jewelry in game, which eventually will make you a lot of money. So that is a money maker that will be more long term, because you can only do 1 Reaper task a day. However, if you pick it up very much straight off the bat on your account, there's a very high chance that you will get Croesus. And that is where my first big tip and the group boss that I mentioned earlier will come in. Croesus is huge for any account, for an early game account, a mid game account, a late game account. And it does have some requirements if you properly want to do it. If you properly want to do it, go check out my guide. I'll link it in the cards and the description down below. But if you just want to do it in a mass world, pick one of the 4 skills: woodcutting, fishing, hunter, or mining. Hunter is by far the easiest, and you can get a magic butterfly net from a minigame called Puro. Just look it up on the wiki, because honestly, if I go explain to you how you get it, then this video will be even longer than it probably already will be, and I kind of want to keep it as concise as possible. But go type in magic butterfly net RS3 wiki on Google and you'll find out how you can get it. That is probably the best thing to do, just a hunter node, but it will probably be very busy because it's the easiest one to unlock. So, you know, if you might spend some time getting some mining, fishing, or woodcutting levels, I suggest like 70 or 80 in a master world is more than enough. It sounds like a high level, but trust me, I'm pretty sure with the XP rates you will have in fresh start worlds, that will not be too difficult, especially not mining. Mining is actually quite quick, and mining will also make you money because if you know, use it with smithing, you can make armor, you can sell that armor, and people need the armor that don't want to do mining and smithing, etc, etc. So definitely a good one. But Croesus, oh boy, not only will it unlock the best in slot magic armor with Crypt Bloom. Crypt Bloom is literally pretty much overpowered at this point, but it's just really, really powerful, because if you don't know what Crypt Bloom does, it takes out a lot of damage you take if you combine it with the Animate Death spell, which is a more later-ish game. Well, not later-ish game, but, you know, you need to put in some time. You can't get that in the first week. I mean, unless you play, like, 14 hours a day, you might be able to, but I'm assuming you play, like, a couple hours a day. But that armor will sell for a buttload of money. In the main game, some pieces are going for 700, 800 million GP. So trust me, in Fresh Start Worlds with a very much smaller supply, it will go for even more. But it's not just that. It also have alcohols. If you don't know what alcohols are, they're pretty much set value items that you can use the high alchemy spell on, which you unlock at 55 magic. It's not 56 magic. I always think it's 56, but it's 55 magic. And it will give you a set amount of GP at all times. It will always be stable. And you get a lot of alks from Croesus. And besides that, you also get a lot of herblore supplies, which are needed for potions. And potions are needed for further bossing. So just keep them in your bank. Sell them whenever you feel like it. And you can make so much money of Croesus, because pretty much everything it drops is useful to someone in the game. And as I said, the alks are direct money that you can get. And that is just really good to just get your starting cash going and just go Croesus. Croesus is amazing. It has a bit of a learning curve if you properly want to do it. As I said, go check out my guide. But if you just go in the Master World, just click on the glowing node and you will be fine. So next up, I kind of want to be going over quests. Look, quests are really good in general to unlock certain items, certain areas, certain money makers. If you're a returning player and you know a bit more about RuneScape, go look into some quests that not a lot of people might do, but there are some useful items that come from certain quests. Like, for example, maybe if you rush the Elven quest line, you can get some things from Prifddinas that people will need and do not need Prifddinas for, but can't get because they can't be asked doing quests. I don't know if that is actually a thing, by the way. I haven't fully looked into all the quests because there are way too many quests to go over, but there's probably some quests that has some unlocks that a lot of people are just looking over and you can make a lot of money for. Also, quests unlock dices, and dices are really good. So if you go to May, near the Very Glowstone, she's just south of the Very Glowstone, every 25 quest point you can get a dice, and depending on how many quest points you have, you get either 500, 750k, 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million, 2.5 million GP from the dice, just flat cash. But you also get a fortunate component. Fortunate components are used to make the best in slot jewelry within RuneScape and will always be in demand, especially by the higher level players. Fortune components are usually gotten from clues, but you can also, as I said, get them from a dice. And just put them on the Grand Exchange for a couple of million GP, and there you go. You made a couple of million GP. They might not sell instantly because they're not needed right now, but in a couple of weeks, they will be in high demand because people will have the levels and the supplies to actually make these pieces of jewelry. And that brings me into clue scrolls as well. You might not want to do clue scrolls right now, but use the first week or 2 weeks to get some unlocks to camp easy clue scrolls. Easy clue scrolls have a very high rate to, drop fortunate components. Go gather all the items you need for easy clues. If you just go onto the hidey hole section on the wiki, if I don't forget to link it, I'll link in the description down below as well. Fill all the hidey holes. Camp easy clues, get them from ham members, spend the first week just training up your thieving as high as possible. Camp ham members, get your easy clues, sesh them out, and sell the fortunate components for millions and millions and millions of gold on the Grand Exchange or directly to players, whatever, the game actually demands, because obviously it's a fresh economy, that's the whole point of this. And trust me, you'll make a lot of money, probably even more than in the main game. In the main game, you already make a buttload of money of clue scrolls. And then, you know, if you really want to start getting into PvM, like actually taking on monsters, you need some level. So I suggest you just get 50 magic, maybe 60 magic and defense of anything within RuneScape that, you know, you would want to. Look, I can go over a lot of things that you could do, but just in general, go slay some mobs, have some fun, do some quests, and you'll eventually have around 50 or 60 magic. I would suggest doing the Lunar Diplomacy quest because it will unlock a very, very good armor set in the Lunar armor set, which is pretty decent mage DPS armor. And also try and unlock the Gothic Staff, which is really good as well. And if you really want to do quests, if you get 150 quest points, you can unlock the Vanquish, which is a tier 70 mage range and melee weapon, which will be really good for this method as well. But the Gothic Staff will pretty much be good enough for now. But as I said, if you're going to do quests anyway, 150 quest points and you can bank yourself the Vanquish, which, as I said, is really powerful. But then you want to go to Elite Dungeons 3. Yet again, something quite endgame, but you're not going to do Elite Dungeons 3. You're just going to do the Trash Mobs. Trash Mobs is pretty much clearing out the first area up until Bossy McBoss phase, or the area where he spawns in, and just resetting the dungeon again, because it will give you a buttload of experience. In the main game, on my Iron Man, I was getting about 800k to 1 million experience an hour. If you're really, really high level, I'm pretty sure you can net about 1.5 million to even 2 million experience an hour, I believe, if you have ultimate efficiency, best in slot gear, etc, etc. Obviously, you will not have this, so you'll probably be looking at 500k to 800k an hour when you're starting this, which is still ridiculous amounts of experience, but that's without the multipliers of experience that will be in Fresh Start World. So I still don't really know, and I don't think a lot of people know how they exactly will work, but if at some point they're at double experience, you will be netting about 1.5 million experience, even on lower levels, in your melee stats, which, well, your combat stats, which pretty much means that in about 8 hours of gameplay, you can get a 99 from level 1 to, well, 99, which is the highest level. So I'd suggest you get your skills to 80, so defense, well, first magic, then defense to 80, and then, you know, camp mage to 99, and then do defense to 99, and then go from there, because mage and defense are probably the most useful ones, because mage does a lot of damage, it's easy to train, you can stay on the distance. I would highly recommend going with some friends though, because otherwise you might get slapped by the mobs, because they do hit hard. I do want to clarify that, so let's go with some friends. Maybe if you have unlocked prayers, you can all just pray and you'll be fine, but still, great experience. The money is not that great anymore as it used to be, because this used to also really be a good money maker. They nerfed it, which I agree with, but still, very good to get experience. And when you get your experience, you have your levels, and when you have your levels, you can really start bossing. If you just want to go to the Arch-Glacor, which is the next tip that I want to give you, with Lunars, you can, but you can also go to either Krill, which is Zamorak, Godport Dungeon 1 boss, that unlocks you Subjugation. Obviously, you first need to get it. Good armor, good power armor. However, it takes some time getting to unlock it, and you obviously have to be lucky as well. So, you know, just see how that goes for you. You can also just skip Zami and go to Hellware with a couple of friends. Hellware is a Godport Dungeon 2 boss, and that unlocks tier 85 mage weapons as well, to the armor that you can get from it. It is good. Yet again, it's also an RNG grind, and it will take some time, and you know, they're fun to do, but if you just want to make money, use your Lunars, go with your Vanquish. I would recommend getting your Vanquish. Bring your Gothic Staff just to spam the special attack on Arch-Glacor, and do one mechanic, so like just turn off all the mechanics on the orbs when you go into the lobby of the Arch-Glacor. Just go look on the map or go look on the wiki where you can find it, and then you will be able to just camp it. And even Arch-Glacor at 0 mechanics is really, really good. If you need a bit more of a challenge, you can turn on some mechanics, and you know, you will get better loot. You can have all mechanics on, you'll get even better loot. And if you really, really are comfortable with your gear, you do a lot of damage, and you think it's efficient enough, and your kills are not 10 minutes long like mine are, on my Iron Man, by the way, then do hard mode and go streaking, because Arch-Glacor is probably one of the best money makers. Just like Croesus, it drops a lot of useful supplies for the game in general, like gems, crush nests, or well, bird's nest, and also yet again alcohols. And as pretty much the same thing with Croesus, alcohols will always be the same price, so there will just be consistent money all over the shop. Same with the water battle staffs, it drops, and the water talismans will be needed for summoning for other people, so you can just sell them off, and it just prints money. That is literally what Arch-Glacor and Croesus do, and they're very much easily accessible within the first week of gameplay if you follow this guide, especially if you just rush ED3 as I said, and then go to Arch-Glacor, or how I mentioned, you just, you know, level some skills up the first 2 days and then you go to Croesus. The same goes with the clues. If you just spend the first couple of days doing thieving and then go do your clues, you will just be netting so much money, and from there the world is your oyster, and you will be able to do whatever skill or whatever boss you want, because you will have the money to buy the armor that you will need. So let me know in the comment section down below if you found this video useful. I wish you guys a lot of fun with this. As I said, I won't be participating myself, but I really hope you guys will be enjoying this game mode. And my name's Chevalric. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, comment if you want to see any other videos as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video.